You're listening to 10-Minute Tech Talks, trying to bring you a little insight, inspiration to help your company succeed. Think of it as your mini masterclass if you're looking to scale super fast. I'm your host, Jonathan Kirsten with the Pittsburgh Technology Council, where I've been kicking on 30 years hanging out with some of the coolest tech entrepreneurs in Pittsburgh who know how to build and scale companies like you would never believe. I love bringing you their insights to help you build a better business. Are you an entrepreneur watching your hard-earned business profits disappear to online copycats? In today's hyper-competitive digital marketplace, protecting your intellectual property, it's not just a legal formality anymore. It is literally the difference between scaling your business and watching it get stolen right out from underneath you. And I have my go-to guest hanging out with me today to keep that from happening. I'm talking about Stanley Ference of Ference and Associates, and he is Pittsburgh's go-to IP lawyer. Love having him bring you his insights because I just find it so valuable. So if you keep on listening, you're going to learn how to proactively shield your innovations from global knockoff artists. You're going to discover strategic methods to enforce your IP rights in the complex online selling landscape. You're also going to understand the critical steps to safeguard your brand's unique value before competitors can strike. So keep on listening now to arm yourself with expert insights that could save your business thousands in potential lost revenue. Let's welcome Stanley back to the show. Stanley, it is fantastic to have you hanging out with me here in Huntington Bank Studios. Because if there's someone out there that I think of that can really help an entrepreneur at the fundamental levels, or if your business is going to fly, it is you, Stanley Ference with Ference and Associates. So thanks for hanging out with me today.
It's great to be here, Jonathan. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, our listeners need to know who you are and what your firm does because you got the chops when it comes to all things IP, patent law, and all the good stuff. You've worked with some big brands, small brands, and everybody who's building a company to make sure they can keep their identities, keep their patents, keep their IP all safe and secure.
We're an intellectual property boutique. We're a group of lawyers that all have technical backgrounds, and we help people and companies get patents, also trademarks and copyrights, and we also help them enforce their rights. And over the past several years, a practice that's really grown is online enforcement of those rights.
That has to be huge, how everything is sold online and your brand is exposed.
Oh, it's tremendous. Because at this point on Amazon, over 60% of the sales on Amazon are from third-party sellers. They're not from Amazon. So the e-commerce has opened up the United States to folks outside the U.S. who can get into this market. All they've got to do is get products to Amazon or to Walmart or their third parties that will do the fulfillment. And boom, they're now selling in the U.S.
So you're seeing ripoffs, products that have patents and that sell well because they're quality, yet someone someplace else, anywhere, could see this, copy it, and then start selling it. And you may not even know that as the person who's originally producing this stuff, right?
That's correct. And it all comes down to money. I was chatting with someone that we recently sued, and what I was told was they had been working with consultants outside of the United States to identify products that were sold on Amazon that had a high profit margin and sold well and could easily be reproduced.
How crazy. So there's like a consultant that can tell you what to go and copy that you can make the most money on.
Oh, People are coming at it from sales or a business perspective and totally ignoring the IP side of it. They don't care if the brand owner's got any rights. They see an opportunity there to make a lot of money.
And even if they know they could be shut down, they could do it for a year and make $100,000. They made $100,000 and if they can just escape. And so what can entrepreneurs do to avoid this? To me, it's a massive failure if you go out and don't have your stuff protected, if your IP is not locked down. So you have a leg to stand on. So if you find these criminals that are going after your stuff and copying it and selling it, what should an entrepreneur do?
You want to start before you've got a problem.
Okay.
If you have a problem, we can help you no matter where you are. But if you've started ahead of time, we've got more arrows in our quiver
I like it.
to help you with. Examples include getting trademark registrations. Okay, because of the number of applicants from China that are filing for trademark registrations, it's now taking well over a year before you get your first office action. You used to be able to get a registration within a year. Okay. And
Okay.
why are folks filing for more trademark applications? Because you can get into brand registry on Amazon.
That's what it's all behind. Oh
Okay.
my goodness. That's so amazing.
All right. So you need, if you have a problem and you expect, oh, I can get a trademark registration and help me deal with the problem, you're too late.
Too late.
But there are
So-
other things that we can work with.
Yeah.
right?
Tell me.
So on the patent side, you have to look early because the United States is one of the few countries in the world that gives you a 1-year grace period from public disclosure of the invention. When I say public disclosure, you're at a conference and talking about it, or you're selling it.
Right.
Okay, so you got a little bit of grace period to get your patent application on file. But if you're lucky, you've moved quickly if you've gotten a patent within a year and a half to 2 years after you filed your application. All right? So you want to be thinking ahead of time. You can also think a little bit about copyrights. Okay? It can take several months on a normal track to get a copyright, but you can accelerate things and get a copyright registration, literally overnight, but it comes at a cost.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I look at this, if you're starting a business, and even as you're putting your business plan together, this is when you should start thinking about these things. Like literally, you need to be doing this in tandem. And I think you need to be budgeting some money accordingly to have the professionals do this for you. I know there's probably some online services that could do this, or you can try it yourself. But if you're going to be building a business on this, I think you want to invest and have the pros do this for you.
No,
right?
that's
Yeah.
right. Okay. And think about it. If you're trying to build up a business, in particular sales online, and you can make an awful lot of money selling online because your Amazon or Walmart is taking care of the deliveries for you, okay? And you're getting a very wide market, so you ramp up quite quickly, and then folks are going to notice that, hey, this product is selling well. You can get data from Amazon, and folks do it to see what's selling well. Other folks get in the game, and if they're taking your business away, if you're losing a third of your business, if you're losing $500, $8 million a year.
I would notice that.
Okay,
Yes.
yes. Okay. And folks, you got to look at it from the business side, because enforcement of your IP rights will drop immediately to your bottom line if you're putting these other folks out of business and stopping the sales. And you've got to compare that to the acquisition cost for a new customer.
Absolutely.
So in the online world, not only are you losing the sales, but when other folks get in, your advertising costs go up because you're bidding on the same keywords. Right? So those costs go up. And one of the things we often hear from clients is the more you advertise, you're not getting the benefit of it. You're just driving customers to the knockoffs.
That is crazy. This is why I love talking to you, Stanley, because this is so actionable to me.
It's very actionable.
Yes.
And the other thing we've heard from clients is when they talk with the regular lawyers, they're told there's really nothing they can do to protect their sales online. We know that's not the case.
I was going to say, that sounds suspicious to me.
You just need to connect up and talk to a lawyer that works in this area and knows what to do. Okay? Because most lawyers don't deal with this stuff. Most lawyers deal with businesses that are
Right.
located in the United States.
Exactly.
Not businesses that are located outside the U.S., but are selling into the U.S. market.
Makes total sense. This is some stuff where my key takeaways on this, Stanley, are you've got to be proactive. As you're building your business, you have an idea for a business, The fundamentals to me say you've got to be working with an IP lawyer to make sure that you can get your copyrights, your patents, all that stuff lined up in a way that as you start going to market, you know you're protected. Once you're out there and you can see that maybe your sales are coming off because you're finding knockoffs of your product, have a leg to stand on so you can go back to your lawyer, do what you got to do in order to get that product off the market. That's some good stuff.
And the other thing I would add
Yes.
is if it happens to you, and it's not really a question of if, it's
When.
when.
Yes, I knew you were going to say that.
Okay.
Dang. Yes.
You do have remedies. There are things that you can take to protect your you do have actions you can take to protect your brand. Don't say, oh, this is just the way it is in the online world, and I've got to see my sales decrease.
Be proactive. So give me one or two key things that you can do. What are the first steps you can take when you see that?
Reach out to a lawyer that knows what they're doing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And that's you.
Yeah. Because without going into them, there are a whole host of actions that you can take.
Great.
Whether you've filled up your quiver with your trademark registrations, with your copyrights, with your patents, even if it's great if you have, but even if you haven't, there are other steps that we can take.
And it's all dependent upon really what you've done originally to make sure that you have more quivers or you have more arrows in your quiver if you've done that work ahead of time. So that way you do have something to fall back on.
Correct. It makes it easier. But even if you haven't done anything, there are things
that you can do.
Yes.
We're going to save that for the next 10-minute tech talk because I want to learn more about that. I know our listeners do as well too. Stanley, I can't thank you enough. Really appreciate your time educating me and our listeners about what to do. Thanks for hanging out today.
You're welcome.
You are the best. Hey, in case you forgot, it's Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Tech Council. If you want to keep your company from failing, just follow us. We've got great experts just like Stanley Ference here to help you along the way.